Richard Gladwell here from Sail World, here with Grant Dalton on the christening of the AC72, the second one. What are the big differences we're really looking at here, Grant?
Well, the hulls are slightly different, and it won't take long for our opposition to work it out. They'll probably have it done by the time this hits the air. Slightly finer in the back, a little different in the front, a little finer in the front as well. So we're giving a little bit of stability, possibly up. We've probably had enough of pitch stability. Try and just improve a little bit upwind, a little bit less drag. The big changes are just in the operational hydraulics and electrics of the boat. Try and make it more efficient. Got quite a bit of weight out of the boat, so that just gives us a bit of margin to play with later when you kind of need it, when things start popping off and you've got to make them heavier. And the boat is now heavily faired. And really that's always in the plan, but we've pushed hard on that because Oracle bow on, look, it doesn't really have any aero footprint at all. It's nice, real nice, and it's going to go like stink upwind, so that's a reaction to a point of that. I guess the bigger question, more than the foiling though, or the aerodynamics, is how much the hydrodynamics of the foiling make a difference to the boat upwind relative to them, and that's an unknown question at the moment, or an unknown answer to a question.
So what have you done to get weight out of the boat?
Oh, just second time round, it's always, it's not like we left out layers of carbon fibre that we didn't think we need. It's just second time around, you can always get them a little lighter. Daggerboard cases, all that area, hulls are slightly lighter, everything's slightly lighter. You get 3 kilos here, 5 kilos there, and we weren't looking for much. We were looking for sort of maybe 80 to 100 kilos is all we needed to allow us to do all the other things that we wanted to do.
What's your take on what you've seen on the other boats over the last couple of weeks?
Well, Artemis' new wing looks nice. It's quite similar to this actually from a profile point of view, or a ratio W1 to W2. So we're surprised when that happened actually, because that's such a movement from where they were. And I think they had major weight issues with Wing 1, and we understand why you would, because of the price you pay for the front element weight-wise. So maybe you shouldn't be too surprised it's gone that way. I always have liked Oracle's wing, and their latest wing looks similar, if not exactly the same. I'm sure it's got some mechanical changes, but it looks pretty much the same as their first one. We need to see the boats of Artemis, the second boat, and really Oracle before we kind of know where we are.
I mean, one of the obvious features on this boat is the drag reduction and the fairing. How much is that going to really add to the boat's speed?
Oh, a huge amount, like a huge amount. There is massive reduction in the footprint by fairing it properly, and also by sealing the wing. And it's not just about the aero drag reduction from the front beams, it's also about the high and the low pressure, and the wind can't escape around the bottom of the wing, and the low pressure on one side and high pressure on the other, like a windsurfer. So it makes a very big difference. Now everybody's doing it, but compared to going upwind before, we will go a lot faster.
So if you were doing 21, 22 knots upwind before, what would you be doing now?
I actually wouldn't have a bloody clue, but I know we'll go faster. a number more than that, hopefully. But it's whether you take it as speed or whether you take it as height. Less drag, you're higher. Your nightmare is when someone can go your same speed and sit up on your hip and stop you tacking on a boundary,
I mean, one of the other differences with the foil width on these, what's that stemming from? What you saw off Oracle, or the way you always intended to go, or what?
No, it's just development of the foils as we get comfortable with the construction. Because they're pretty scary things, those, for an engineer to just take on and go, we're going to pick this thing up and hurtle a little, 6.5 tons and hurtle a little along at 40 plus knots on a little foil, and so they go, well, it better be this big. And there's a point where you run into a cavitation issue if you get them too small, and that's width to chord ratio. So we've got quite a bit more work to do there yet in understanding.
What's going to happen with the first boat? Are you going to get that into any sort of sailing condition, or is it just going to sit in the shed, or what?
We'd like to get it to a point where it could come online quickly, and that's our long-term idea. But it's not cheap. There's quite a bit of cannibalised equipment on this boat that comes off the other boat, the winches, some of the cross structure, not the beams, but the cross structure. So and we are maxed out. I mean, there's 100 and something guys here, and we are maxed out. If I said tomorrow, here's the money, let's put boat 1 in commission, we actually couldn't do it without employing another 20 guys to do it. So financially we can't do it at the moment, but physically we couldn't do it anyway. But ultimately, long term, we need to try and get that boat ready to go if we have a catastrophe with this boat. So
with the other teams, particularly Artemis and Oracle, how will they get on trying to run 2 AC-72s?
Well, Oracle's probably in the best position to do it because they can just employ more people. But as I've said before, I think you almost got to separate them out. If you try and mix them together and under the same crane and all that sort of thing, you're just never going to... You're going to do two things, 2 boats not very well. So I think both of them will tend to concentrate. Well, I don't think Artemis would ever measure. I think it'd probably be way overweight. So I don't think they'll take that boat very far. Ultimately, they'll wait for their new boat. And Oracle, well, they'll get 2 boats going. They have to as a defender to, get their racing miles up. But how they do it, it's difficult. It would be really difficult to keep boats on the water and not, 2 half boats.
So what happens with you now? I mean, we're at the sort of really start of the runway to America's Cup. What's the battle plan from here?
Well, the only reason we didn't lift into the water today is just, we lifted this wing net this morning and it's 25 knots at the top of that crane. And, God, every time. This seems the way our luck goes. So we'll get in the water. We'll probably sail by Thursday's the plan at the moment. We're going to give the guys Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off because they're going to pop if they don't have some time off and just basically just go to bed and have a sleep. They have just amazing how hard these guys are working. I'm just in awe. So the idea really has been to make sure we hit our date of launching, make sure we sail this week if we can, and then regroup next week and start to kick. And then we'll pack up in early April and off she'll go to San Francisco.
So you've got 45 days till the end of April. Are you going to be able to use them all?
No, we never get we'd never get even close. We stop sailing in sort of early April, so we'd never get close. We're not even, I mean, I'm aware that there's 45 days, but it just isn't on our radar like the 30 days was.
What happens in the Cup itself when you start the Louis Vuitton round? Is that really target practice for you guys, or?
Well, don't know. We'll know that when we know how fast everyone else is. I'm sure Prada doesn't think they're target practice for us, and I know Artemis won't think that way. Honestly, until we line up, we don't know where we are.
What's the plan with Prada till over the next couple of months? Yeah,
we're going to sail with them, race with them as much as we can, because they've stepped up. Since we stopped sailing with them in early December, they've really stepped on a long way, more like we did. They had a long way to go when we finished with them, but they've come right on, and we go out and watch them each day. So I think they give us straight out of the blocks will give us a really good gauge of how we're going relative to the old boat. But once we're sorted and got the bugs out of this thing, which maybe we never will, we never got them out of the last one, we'll start lining up with them as much as we can.